I don't want to improve who I am, but how I am. I want to shift my focus from the outcome to the process because I think that's where real growth happens. My practice should feed me and not drain me. It often feels like the deck is stacked against artists, and it'd be really easy for me to spend all of my time focused on everything that we lack. But there's way too much beauty to creating for me to not recognize that. I make the choice. I focus on the beauty and I make peace with my own suffering. This is something I used to do a lot when I was younger. Self-portraiture. It's a sacred space of self-exploration and catharsis. It's also probably the only place I've found where I can safely open up old hurts and just lay them out for myself to see. She's a friend. She knows so many versions of me, but she's never unkind. She loves my growth just as much as my stagnation. Maybe I should take a page from her book. If I could see myself suffering, I wouldn't think I was hard to love or undeserving of love. The camera reminds me that I'm real. And it reminds me that I'm just as deserving of the same love and compassion that I give other people. I am tired of trying to define myself and trying to shrink down to fit into little boxes. Thank you for spending this tough time with me. I hope you're able to give yourself the kindness that you need to succeed. And if you're not, maybe then you can just play pretend. Are you ready to go hang out with our friends one more time? Hi everyone, this is my friend Carissa Johnson. She's a guitarist and a singer. So, tell me, what are the secrets to writing incredible songs? How do you do it?
I don't know what the full secret is, but the way I do it is just with pen and paper. And usually it starts off as a poem or sometimes even just a journal entry. And I'm just feeling something and I'll sit down and just stream of consciousness, get it out on paper. And the best ones I've found have been the quickest ones, the ones that just kind of flow out and I don't have to think about them for days or months.
So, but you're touring now, right? You're going on tour and you're releasing a lot of different albums. So what are some of the challenges you face working as a professional musician?
There's definitely challenges throughout because there's no linear path to it. There's no rule book. You kind of have to create your own rules and basically create your own adventure every day. And I would juggle a lot of jobs to make it work financially. And that can sometimes be a burden, but I try not to let it because I know the more I invest in myself, the more opportunities come from that. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, but it's always worth it.
I've always wanted to play guitar.
Really?
Whoa, how did you do that?
Music's magic, Jaina.
Okay, so we're really doing this.
Yeah, let's get right into it. So in Western music, there are 12 notes. Sometimes when those notes are played together, it sounds harmonious and beautiful. Other times, it sounds like complete shit. Each string is a letter, and each one of these frets, when you press down on different notes, is also a letter. Does that make sense?
Yes, some things sound good, some things sound bad, and they're somehow related to letters.
Exactly. And those letters are also the notes. Like that, that's a C note. If I press here, that's a G note. And right here, that's an F. And so these notes are what you hear underneath lyrics and songs. So let me show you. Googly googly goo, googly googly goo, googly googly goo, goo. Hear that? So then we can build off of those notes and make chords, which makes it sound way more full and like a real song. Googly googly goo, googly googly goo, googly googly goo, goo.
That's so pretty.
Yeah, it's really cool. So let's go through the letters of the strings. So we've got E, A, D, G, B, and E. And then when I go over here on the frets, just like we just did with our song, I press down right here, that note becomes an A. It used to be an E, just played open.
Just like this, when I play the open A string, if I fret that on the 5th fret, that becomes a D. So if I move from this A up 2 frets, that then becomes a B note. If I move backwards 2, that becomes a G. But then if I go down to the D string, and I press that, that's also a G, because that's the octave of this G. Then if I go backwards, this becomes an F sharp, this one's an F, and then this one's the octave of F, so that's also F. If I go down here, that's another note, that's another note, this one right here, that's still A.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
Jaina, look at this. This is music theory. It was invented by madmen. It only makes sense until it doesn't. All you have to do is just trust your instincts and what sounds good. All right, so let's go ahead and learn the C chord. So we're gonna press down on the first, second, and third frets. We're gonna use this finger right here, that finger right there, and that right there. You got it. Let's hear that. Yeah, it'll get better with practice. Let's try another one. Let's try the G chord.
Okay.
All right, we can put our pinky right here, our ring finger right there, middle finger up top right there. Perfect. And then this one's going to go right there on the second fret. All right, let's hear that. How's that feel?
Weird and unnatural.
Yeah, that's usually how it is at first with guitar. And it can hurt a little bit because the strings kind of dig into your fingers. But that's okay. We'll get better with practice. Let's try a nonsense song together, then we can practice together.
I don't know it.
It's okay. I don't either. We'll figure it out. Broken glass and ice cream cones, all night just feeling alone, stuck thinking and contemplating, daydreaming about maybe migrating. Everywhere they're plucking daisies, everyone's just calling me crazy. Nobody knows where to go. Was I supposed to know? But here I am. What a fact. Just doing what I do. Trying not to have a heart attack. That's okay, things are getting better until they get worse. What a funny thing, living on this earth.
Am I a guitarist?
Well, you are what you do, and you're certainly playing guitar, so yeah, I'd say you're a guitarist. I think just keep practicing, and I think you'll develop a knack for it.
Cool. Thank you for breaking this down for me into such bite-sized pieces. I feel like I've been learning a lot of new skills lately, but it's been really hard to recognize growth.
Totally. Just remember to trust your ears and listen close, and you might discover some new notes and sounds. But I should hit the road. I got a gig tonight.
Okay, good luck. I'm gonna cut to plant time.
Hi. Hi. Fooled you, didn't I? Did you see me? Bet not, because I was being small. Just like the plants we're going to talk about today. They go largely unnoticed, like me. Nobody ever pays any attention to me, but that's okay. Moss! Today is a moss talk. We're going to talk about moss. Why is moss so small? Surely they would want to grow up and up and up towards the sun, right? Wrong. Moss is perfectly happy where it is. And besides, they wouldn't be able to anyway. They don't have those sweet vascular tissues to transport water through their stem. So they have to stay low to the ground, where the water is. They also don't have roots. They're more like root hands that grip onto any desirable surface. You'll find moss on all sorts of things, from tree trunks, rocky outcrops, bricks, dirt, and rotting logs. Since moss can't suck up the water from the soil, it needs to be able to deal with drying out. So it just goes dormant, I guess, waiting to get that sweet liquid to rejuvenate them. Now I'm turgid and ready to photosynthesize. Because moss goes where the water is, you may find it in abundance, where it seeps out from the rocks. Look! A moss wall! This rock wall is much too steep to hold any pockets of soil, and would be bare without the moss. But because it's here, there is now a valid growing medium for other plants to drop their babies and make a life, like this one. We should all support each other, especially when we're trying to grow on vertical rock spaces. You can often tell the moisture content of a place by what kind of moss is growing there. For example, this area exposed to the sun is mainly home to a very teeny tiny thin type of moss. This understory harbors these little pine tree looking guys. Just imagine all the tiny critters having a good time in there, eating each other, no worry about morals. And this bog is so packed full of moisture, this sphagnum moss is just like one big squishy wet pillow. Just like my pillows used to be when I was up all night, crying. Let's remember that therapy is expensive. Being alive is hard. Especially knowing that we're all fucked in the end. But looking at plants is free. Maybe we can reconnect with nature and feel a little better while we all descend into the darkness. Thank you for being here today. Goodbye.
Is that a guitar?
No, it's a saxophone. Yeah, it's a guitar. Do you like it?
What? No, your playing sounds awful. Like not good. But I suppose it always sounds bad at first.
Hey, that was nice.
What?
You just said something nice.
But what the hell are you on about?
I heard with my own 2 ears. You complimented me.
I did no such thing. I said you sounded awful and I meant it.
Yeah, but you acknowledge that everybody sounds awful when they're starting, which means there's nothing exceptional about how bad I am, which means that I am practically normal.
Oh, well, normal is boring and monotonous.
Yeah, sure, but not in the context which you used it, because you clearly
Oh,
implied.
you're insane.
Oh, you're self-conscious.
I'm leaving.
Oh, come on, don't go. Come back. Hey, you want to sing a song?
A song?
Yeah. It can be about how dumb I am if that makes you feel any better.
That could be kind of funny. No, okay. Let's do it. But if you try any of that nice crap again, I'm out of here.
Loud and clear.
You know, I used to play the lute back in the day.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Were you good?
Oh, better than you, certainly.
Why'd you stop?
Oh, well, kind of hard to play with just the one hand.
Yeah, how did you lose your hand?
I lost it in the Gulf War.
What? Really?
Nah, that wasn't it. I believe I lost it golfing.
I get it. You're playing around.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Okay, well, we're gonna sing a song, and you can sing about, like, the Gulf War, or golfing, or whatever.
You mean like I sing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right, let's give it a shot. No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Aw, that's too bad.
Well, sorry if I refuse to open myself up to your ridicule.
Okay, well, if you change your mind, I would love to hear your song someday.
Well, I'll take that into consideration. Hey,
What's up?
I just want you to know you're not crazy. Okay? I'm just full of shit.
Thank you for saying that.
Don't get up and hey, you know this doesn't change anything, right?
I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I'm getting the hang of this. Ooh. How do you come up with words? Grass. Grass.
I had the strangest dream last night. I tried to jot as much of it down as I could remember in my journal. It was about this, little blue man, and he was the grumpiest guy in the world. But at first he wasn't like that. He was this really chipper fellow dressed in a toga and singing, and he was really very good. And he spent his days eating apples off of trees and riding on the backs of any animals that could carry him. And it seemed like all he ever did was laugh and sing. I don't think I'd seen anyone who ever looked so bubbly. He was happier than a gurgling baby. This was when he was young. I think everything was young then. The trees had just arrived, and there was a completely different cast of animals. There were birds with antlers and fish with feet, and dogs had not been invented yet. It was freaky. If you brought a compass back to that period in time, north would point south and south would point north. And then came the new folk, the ones that stood on their hind legs. And the little blue imp seemed absolutely infatuated with them from the beginning. At first, he watched them from afar as they climbed and jumped and fell on their asses. Behind the bushes, he would toss pine nuts and quickly hide, stifling his laughter. His pranks grew elaborate, and he began to start building things just to dunk on these guys. And then one day, he thought it would be hilarious to hop on the back of the largest beast in the area and have it chase the new folk across the land, nipping at their heels until they reached a dead end. And as the beast backed them into their corner, the imp looked at the poor creatures and realized something. If he didn't stop the beast, something terrible would happen. He would lose his entertainment. So the imp leapt in front of the beast and shrieked. But undeterred, the beast tossed him about like a rag doll and shredded his legs to pieces. Not recognizing the imp as their longtime prankster, the new folk mistook this gesture as something heroic. Inspired by the tenacity of the strange small creature, they pelted the beast with stones, one lucky throw blinding one of the beast's eyes, causing it to flee. Concerned for their new benefactor, the new folk nursed him to health and mended his wounds as best they could. They'd make him little gifts, like a piece of wood with a hole in it, or a rock painted blue, or a coconut with strings pulled tight across the shell to make cool noises. And at night, they would host comedy night to keep his spirits up. And after comedy night, the imp sang along to the sound of plucked strings, singing them to sleep. Occasionally, the new humans would try to sing along, and they were just awful, really bad, which amused the imp all the same. As the generations passed, the songs became how they remembered, and then those songs turned into words, and the people would play games with the words. It became clear that language was the best way to trick and play with the humans. He would tell them that we lived on the back of a giant, and the trees were its body hair, or people used to have 4 arms and 4 legs. Sometimes he would tell them he was a kind of god, and they believed him. He would say he sprang forth from the sun, or hatched out of an egg laid by the world serpent, or washed ashore on the back of the island turtle. Back then, they didn't have very good memories, so most of the time they would believe him and then pretty quickly forget what that meant. With time, though, their brains got wrinklier, and while they got confused by all these contradictory accounts, the imp would assure them that they simply weren't able to comprehend the truth. Every once in a while, out of curiosity, the imp would declare that a member of the people would be king, just to see what would happen. Some kings would have everyone dance all day until by night they collapsed from exhaustion. Other kings would get everyone who could to build a tower so that they could see far across the land. One king told everyone that they were to become fish and return to the ocean. This king was largely ignored. What interesting people, the imp thought. And then one day, the imp saw the hungry eyes of a lean young fellow, and after a moment of inexplicable hesitation, declared this cub king. The lad had been waiting patiently for this day to come for years, and alas, he was crowned by the wreath. After his name day song was sung, he demanded silence. Swiftly, he ordered a third of the people to dig a hole to the earth's core. Then he told a third of the people to scatter in every direction and return with a report of what they saw. And the remaining third was sent to hunt the great beast from the old songs. With the whole community out and about, the imp and the king were alone in the village. The imp watched the king intently as he procured his own stringed instrument. He had made a song for the village and practiced in the middle of the night alone in a cave, and he wanted to show the imp before sharing it with the rest of the village. And with great care, the king performed his song confidently and sincerely. After a moment, the imp looked at the king and let out a cackle unlike any he had let out before. The imp had never heard such a ludicrous song in all of his time. This moment had made all of that tomfoolery worth it. This might be the funniest thing he had ever seen. The imp fell off his chair, laughing, and cackled into the evening. By then, a third of the people crawled out of the hole they dug, not quite reaching the core of the earth. A third came back with the head of the great beast, and a third came back with reports from far away. But they all stood staring at the imp, nervously giggling and desperately curious at what made him laugh so. And the king stood next to his instrument, which he had shattered in quiet fury, and he stood as silent as the night. With a shout, he declared that he would be king forever, and that the imp was a heathen, a demon sent to torment us. Confused, but never the type to break the rules of a game, they followed his orders to restrain the imp and remove his right arm and toss him in the hole. And they did, the imp's laughter echoing from the deep until the next day. And from that point on, the king ruled for the remainder of his life, keeping the people busy so that they might never remember the time when they took turns assuming power. Though many of them missed the imp dearly, both his songs and his trickery. But from that hole the imp remains, whispering to the most curious of humans, waiting for someone to come close so that he might reach out to them with his remaining claw and ride upon their back like he once did that great beast. I love dreaming about that guy. He wasn't a good guy or a bad guy, just this elemental force, a chaotic muse always amusing himself. I think that was the quality I liked most about him. I liked how he was always entertaining himself. I think it's easy for me to lose that sometimes. I do wonder, though. I wonder what happened to make him so sad. Pretty weird show, right? Well, that's all from me, folks. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you for your time. I'm so curious, though. What have you been dreaming about lately?